Good evening and welcome to CB8 Speaks. My name is Allison Koff and I'm a member of Manhattan's Community Board 8, representing the Upper East Side from 59th Street to 96th Street in Roosevelt Island. Our guest this month is one of our very own, Sophia James. Sophia manages community affairs for Interforce Tots, the second largest single-site early education agency in New York City. Sophia is a lifelong New Yorker, born and raised on the Upper East Side. You can often catch her at Bella Blue on Lexington Avenue for brunches and meetings. And I hear when it's nice out, she's going to be riding her bicycle along the East River and through Central Park. Sophia became a Community Board 8 member in April of 2013 and sits on the Youth and Education, Parks, and Communications committees. Welcome, Sophia.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about why you decided to get involved with the Community Board.
As you spoke about, I grew up on the Upper East Side, and I definitely saw the changing dynamics of the landscape of our neighborhood, and I definitely felt that I wanted to partake in the discussions that would help shape the future of the neighborhood. I really felt an investment in the type of environment I'm growing up. I'm living, and families are being raised here, and hopefully I will be able to raise a family here. And so I definitely want to be part of that discussion on how businesses and schools and libraries and how we can sustain the things that keep the community vibrant.
Sure. You're a relatively new member, as am I.
Yes.
Were there challenges getting involved in the early days, and what were those barriers to learning how to get involved?
I definitely think that there are members that just have been there for a long time, and they have such institutional knowledge. And as someone, coming in, just I guess the young perspective can be something that's new. And sometimes people are a little afraid of, like, what else, what type of information and agenda are these, these young professionals coming in with. And I think once you have sort of that intergenerational discussion, and you share the same love for the community and understanding how the community works and the types of policies and community advisement, I think that we can definitely build, again, that intergenerational conversation. I truly believe in that. And so when I was appointed under former Manhattan Borough President Scott Stringer, he was really pushing diversity on the community boards, having more young professionals involved, because it's definitely about, the changing dynamics of the neighborhoods and being representative of the entire neighborhoods, whether that's culturally and also generationally.
You're involved with a few different committees. Which is your favorite, or if all of them are, why? Why did you get involved with them?
I think that I am particularly akin to the Youth and Education Committee. My background is in education. I received my master's in educational psychology, so I've always was interested in educational development and understanding how that works across communities. And the Youth and Education Committee, we tend to have a lot of meetings around what's going on with the different programs, and the different types of things going on in the schools. And I think that's very informative, because we're learning about what's going on in communities and how we can help sustain the various programs and efforts that we can provide for the children and families, and also hear their thoughts and their concerns about sort of the educational future of our community.
What is the role with the Community Board, especially, specifically with youth and education? What is our role within those programs and helping them?
I think it's about being a voice and a conduit to how we can work together as a community to really garner information. I think that, parents want to know about the various programming. How can they get access to various programming? How can they get information on getting into certain school programs? And I would think that the Youth and Education is a hub, sort of a resource and information hub for neighborhood families, and as well as schools that can come in and talk to us. They're talking to community members about what's going on in their schools, so parents are aware of what's going on, especially parents who are not particularly involved in PTA or any other type of advisory committees. So it allows that sort of cross information and also a resource for both both the teachers and the various program directors, as well as the parents that need to know this type of information.
Speaking of sharing information, you're on the communications committee.
Yes.
What's that experience been like, and We just spoke with the two co-chairs of the
Yes.
Communications Committee. How can we share information better?
I really felt it was an important part to be part of communications. It was something new for me, actually, because even though I'm involved in technology in the sense that, I have a Twitter account and I tweet a lot about education and politics and what's going on in our communities, but how can we sort of put that on a larger platform? And that's what I wanted to definitely learn through being involved in the Communications Committee. How can I help inform the public in a more concise and informative manner? And so I'm definitely learning how to share information, and as well as for me personally, I'm learning about the important issues that are impacting our community. For instance, I've sort of been put in charge of posting all the relevant goings-on of the Community Board 8 district. I posted on our Facebook page, usually by the end of the month, just all the things that have been going on in the past month or so. And I think that the type of information that's posted about sort of the various real estate development, I think that's really important, sort of the changing of the landscape of the district, and also putting information on the different cultural programs available to families and what's going on with that. I think that's really important, especially with the East River Esplanade. How can families and community members get more involved, even if they're not serving on the community board? And I think that's really an important aspect. Even if you're not part of the community board, how else can I be an effective resident?
Right. And how can I get more involved?
Exactly.
Too? That's a great point. What has been your favorite project or issue or proposal that's come by the community board since your time here?
I just mentioned the East River Esplanade. For me, it's sort of been left alone and deteriorating. So for me, it was really something heartening for me to know that people care about the East River Esplanade and they want to see it used and a safe way for families and community members to use it for bike riding, for cultural events. And as you know, we don't tend to use it largely for cultural or public events,
Sure.
such as on the west side. So I would definitely like to see the East River Esplanade become something like the west side. I think that it's something that's needed. There are a lot of families in the East Side community, and we need to have a venue, and I'm sure they will come out, especially families that live a little further up in the 90s and a little bit in the hundreds as well. And they don't have to go that far all the way to the west side or to go all the way to Randall's Island to, to experience the summer, different types of summer activities. And I look forward to that time when we can really enjoy it and be able to use it.
That's great. I also use the East River Esplanade, so I'm looking forward to that day as well. You mentioned diversity earlier. How do we increase the diversity on community boards? What could we be doing better as a community to get people involved and active?
I think that an important part is being consistent with information. And the Communications Committee, I think, is an integral piece in the way that we provide information as it comes through and finding out what's going on in the community. And David spoke to that of sharing information, not just through the internet, but also, we want to reduce paper, but at the same time, we want to be able to inform families and community board members on different levels, and from that, they're passing it on through word of mouth or different issues that are concerns. And also, you have to think about things that are making information valuable, whether it's sexy or not sexy information, because if you notice during community board meetings, people come out for the issues that they really care about.
Sure.
But how about, things that are not, very, sexy topics, and how can we encourage members that this is something that's important, but the language is a little hard to understand, but if, we can work through it and help community members understand that. And so one way of doing that, again, is just being consistent with information and also breaking down. I think sometimes we need to put things in layman language. As you know, a lot of language can become complicated with a lot of the paperwork that we have to read. And so just maybe sometimes we need to work on putting it in real simple terms for maybe the public to understand and also see the value in coming out and having a voice in what's going on in the community.
Sure. If you, for closing, if you could see anything change on the community board, what would it be? That's
an interesting question. Again, it's about the various diverse involvement. As you know, the Manhattan Borough President, Gail Brewer, she's definitely helped push with younger involvement, encouraging high school students to become involved. And I think their perspective is also important. Children are creative. And as we become adults, sometimes we don't see always the creative aspect of what young children see. So I think it's really important to have them involved because they also see things through a different lens. And again, I repeat, the consistency of information sharing. Built using CB8 Speaks and also the Facebook page as a conduit for various information and plugging in various community leaders in what's going on and community members, and kind of, again, encouraging our own community board members to sit down at CB8 Speaks table and have discussions about things that are important to them and bring to light issues, because again, there's a lot of institutional knowledge, and I think it's important to put that on different media platforms so we can always have it in our archives and share it for the future.
Sure. That's another pitch to join us and get more involved with CB8 Speaks. So thank you, Sophia. That concludes our session tonight, and we look forward to you tuning in next month. For more information on Community Board 8, you can go to our website at www.cb8m.com. And just want to take another thank you to Sophia, to our board members, and to all involved with the Community Board. Thanks.
Thank you.